In this video, you will see why it's a good idea to own a cheap camera that you enjoy. I strongly encourage you to watch the whole thing because I'm gonna tell you one of my best pieces of advice. I own 4 cameras, but most of the time I use only one. Let me show you the cameras. Maybe you'll guess which one I'm using the most. The first one is Canon's M6 Mark II, the best performing EOS M camera. It's a pity that Canon ditched the EOS M system. From now on, they'll focus on the R generation. The thing is that I love this camera. It has 32 megapixels, excellent image quality, and 4K recording with no crop. My second camera is the Panasonic G7. I found it at a low price and I was intrigued by it. Why is this camera still available in camera stores? Of course, people are still buying it, that's why. But it was released back in 2015. This camera is like M&M, persistent, still in the game. My third camera is the Olympus OMD EM10 Mark III. This one, again, I found it at a low price and bought it. I don't know why I did this since I already had the Panasonic G7, another Micro Four Thirds camera. My fourth one is the Canon 80D. This is my go-to camera when it's raining outside, the only one out of the 4 that has weather sealings. Now that we know our suspects, I will divide this video into 2 parts. The ideal camera must be comfortable to use and it must be cheap. Let's start with the first part. In my opinion, a camera should bring 4 benefits in order for it to be enjoyable for daily photography. It must be small, it should have a viewfinder, it should have a dedicated dial for shutter speed and aperture settings, and a tilting screen. Let's see which of my cameras has all the benefits. The only one that isn't small here is the Canon 80D. The bulky body is the reason why I don't always have it with me. It occupies too much space. The second benefit, it should have a viewfinder. A viewfinder gives you more control. When you want to move fast, you really need to put your eye in there. I really don't encourage this behavior that started with the mirrorless camera. A lot of photographers shoot like this, camera parallel with the face, very close, but too lazy to put the eye in the viewfinder. Just put your eye in there, you're gonna be more productive. This benefit of having a viewfinder is only covered by the Micro Four Thirds cameras, so I will have to exclude the M6 Mark II. A viewfinder for this camera can be bought separately, but I don't have one yet. The third benefit, dedicated dials for changing the shutter speed and aperture settings. It's nice when you don't have to press any additional buttons. It's more comfortable this way and you adapt your settings faster. We can see these dials on both cameras, so it all comes down to the last benefit. It must have a tilting screen. Let's see which one wins. Panasonic G7 has a fully articulating flip screen, so the last one standing is the Olympus, my go-to camera for daily photography. A flip screen offers more flexibility than a tilting screen, but in my opinion, flip screens are more suited for video shooters. As a photographer, a flip screen slows you down. Look here, in order to see what I'm doing, I need to make 1, 2 movements. Imagine yourself doing this 50 times in a photo walk. It's frustrating and you can't just leave your screen hanging out like that all the time. It looks odd and you might break it. The tilting screen is for photographers. If you're just taking photos, this is what you need. Tilting screens that allow you to get both the low and the high angles are ideal. Of course, some of you might say that the Canon M6 Mark II has better image quality. Why do I prefer the Olympus? We have reached the second part of this video. Your daily camera must be cheap. Guys, I don't know about you, but when I'm outside with an expensive camera, I tend to protect that camera. $1,000 for the M6 Mark II. I bought it for its good video recording capabilities and for vlogs inside the house like this one. When you own an expensive camera, and please confirm in the comment section if it's true, when you own an expensive camera, you take less photos in the streets. If it's raining outside, you leave it in the camera bag. If you're in a bad neighborhood, you leave it in the camera bag. Expensive cameras are nice, but we tend to use them less often in the streets. We are protecting them a lot because we paid a lot for them. The Olympus camera only $300. I don't care if I scratch it, and I don't care if I'm in a bad neighborhood. Of course, I'll be cautious with it, but I'll be $300 cautious, not $3,000. When you'll own a cheap camera that you'll enjoy, you'll take more photos. If you have an expensive camera, also consider getting a cheap one for daily use. You won't regret it. This is how it should look like. Comfortable to use with the 4 benefits that I've mentioned, and cheap so that you'll be more relaxed on the streets. If you own a similar camera like this one, whether it's from Fuji, Panasonic, or other brands, please write in the comment section. What's the model of that camera? If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, and see you on the next one, guys. Enjoy photography.